Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are fine and doing well. My name is Naresh, welcome to our channel Physics Plaza. Today we are going to discuss a simple topic is a latent heat. So before going to discuss that simple topic latent heat, let us recall what we had discussed in a previous session. Children, in a previous session mainly we discussed about melting point of ice, then we discussed about boiling point of water. Boiling point of water means boiling point of liquid also. Children, here melting point of ice, how it gets affected with the pressure and how it gets affected with addition of impurities. This is what actually we discussed. Children, so when we increase the pressure, the melting point of ice decreases, means it is I can say it's a melting point of ice is inversely proportional to the pressure. For every 1 atm like rise in like atmospheric pressure, the melting point of ice is decreased. When we increase the pressure by 1 atm, then the melting point of ice decreased by 0.0072 degrees Celsius. 0.0072 degrees Celsius. Whereas with addition of impurities, children, ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. The melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius only. But with addition of impurities, such as when salt is added, when ice and salt, when we can mix, then what will happen? This combination we can call it as a freezing mixture. This we can use in the preparation of kulfis. So this combination of ice and salt will produce more cooling effect. So due to which what happens, instead of getting like ice getting melted at 0 degrees Celsius, it melts at minus 22 degrees Celsius. So what is happening here? The melting point of ice also decreases. Children, I repeat once. So by increasing the pressure, the melting point is decreasing. With the addition of impurities also, what is happening? The melting point of ice decreasing. Now let us see the boiling point. Children, as we know that it is too difficult to cook at a hill station. The reason is that at a hill station, pressure is less, so that what happens, the water boils at below 100 degrees Celsius, which means what, pressure is less, so boiling point also less. Whereas in a pressure cooker, the vapor pressure is almost 1.75 times greater than that of the atmospheric pressure. So that what will happen, inside of a pressure cooker, water boils around at 125 degrees Celsius. So boiling point is directly proportional to pressure, means more the pressure, more the boiling point, less the pressure, less the boiling point. At the same time, impurities, let us say, impurities. Children, with addition of impurities, what happens? The boiling point increases. For suppose when you can add salt to the pure water. So instead of getting boiled at 100 degrees Celsius, the water with salt gets boiled at 115 degrees Celsius. So we can say that boiling point of water increases with pressure. At the same time, it also increases with impurities. Okay children, fine. Now we will discuss what actually latent heat. Children, here is a solid, let us say ice which is at 0 degrees Celsius. Children, when we start heating, when some amount of heat is given to this ice, do you think that ice suddenly gets converted into water? Entire whole ice will become like a whole water? It's not that. It is not that. So when we start heating it, what happens? Slowly it gets converted into water. Means after some time, so there will be a state where there will be a combination of ice and water. Then further if we are heating, what happens? Further it may get converted into water. And here what we notice is that initially the ice is at 0 degrees Celsius. And after some time, when where the ice and water will be there also the temperature will be 0 degrees Celsius. Then finally when we get water, it also will have temperature 0 degrees Celsius. Which means what, children? The entire ice gets converted, means the temperature remains same till whole ice gets converted into water. Once water is formed, then still we are supplying the heat. Then temperature may raise. Then temperature is increased, no doubt about it. But during this till whole ice gets converted into water, the temperature remains same. But here we get one doubt actually. As we are supplying the heat continuously, generally dear children, when we supply the heat to any substance, so there will be a some rise in temperature. There will be some rise in temperature. So same thing should happen here also, but it is not happening. During the change of state, there is no rise in temperature. You can look at here, till whole ice gets converted into water, the temperature is not at all raised. The temperature is not at all raised actually. So during the change of state, as there is no change in temperature, the average kinetic energy of molecules of the substance also same only. How can we say that? We know that temperature is equal to the average kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. Which means what? When temperature increases, then kinetic energy increases. When temperature decreases, kinetic energy also decreases. But here, during the change of state, as temperature remains same, kinetic energy also remains same. But then what is happening during the change of state? Where the heat, whatever the heat which we are providing is going? Children, during the change of state, there is a change in the separation distance between the molecules. So due to which what will happen? As the separation distance between the molecules is increasing, the average potential energy of molecules increases. So whatever the heat which we are providing is utilized for that. So the heat which we are providing is utilized to break the bonds, to separate the molecules, so that there would be a change in the state from solid to liquid. So children, whatever the heat which we are providing during this change of state, only we can call it as a latent heat. What is latent heat, dear children? The amount of heat required to change the matter from one state to another state at a constant temperature. Children, it's very much keyword it is. At a constant temperature is called latent heat. Then how can we define specific latent heat? How specific latent heat differ from the latent heat? Now let us see. Children, now we'll see what is specific latent heat. So in order to define the latent heat, dear children, we did not specify the mass. Let us recall once how we defined what latent heat. The amount of heat energy required to change the substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature is called latent heat. But here, in order to define the specific latent heat, we will specify the mass, which means what? We take one unit mass. Unit mass is taken. So here, unit mass. So unit mass should be changed from one state to another state. For that, the amount of heat, whatever the amount of heat which is required, only we can call it as a specific latent heat. Children, the amount of heat required to change the unit mass of a substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature. Children, you should not forget to mention at constant temperature. I repeat once. The amount of heat energy required to change the unit mass of a matter, a substance from one state to another state. It might be from solid to liquid, liquid to gas, gas to liquid, liquid to solid, whatever it may be. So during this process, during the change of state at a constant temperature, whatever the heat which we are providing for a unit mass is called actually specific latent heat. Children, if Q be the amount of heat absorbed or liberated to change the mass m of a substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature, then mathematically how can we write an expression for specific latent heat? Children, if Q is the amount of heat absorbed and m is the mass to be converted from one state to another state at a constant temperature, then specific latent heat L can be defined as the amount of heat absorbed or liberated by mass. L is equal to Q by M. Then let us see the units, SI units. Children, in SI system, Q is measured in joule, M is measured in kg. As Q is measured in joule, M is measured in what kg, then the units of L are joule per kg. Children, joule per kg or SI units of specific latent heat Then what are CGS units? Here CGS units are, in a CGS system, heat is measured in calorie, mass is measured in grams, so that the units of specific latent heat will be calorie per gram. Calorie per gram. Children, joule per kg is a SI unit of specific latent heat. Calorie per gram is a CGS unit of specific latent heat. Now let us see, dear children, the types. Specific latent heat is of two types actually here. We will be discussing like a two types. Of course, in higher classes, you will be learning in detail also. But here, let us see. Children, here, let us take a case 1. In a case 1, let us take, here is a solid. Unit mass of solid is considered. Now, we want to change unit mass of a solid into unit mass of a liquid. Unit mass only. Children, during the change of state, there won't be any change in mass. And at the same time, there won't be any change in temperature also. So, at a constant temperature. This to be noted always. Constant temperature. So, for this, during this process, whatever the heat which we are providing is called specific latent heat of, what we can say, fusion. Specific latent heat of fusion. So, what is specific latent heat of fusion, dear children? The amount of heat required to change the unit mass of a solid into unit mass of a liquid at a constant temperature. Is called specific latent heat of fusion. Children, fusion, converting solid state to liquid state, unit mass of a solid to unit mass of a liquid at a constant temperature. For that, we are providing heat. That heat only we can call it as a specific latent heat of fusion. Then how can we define specific latent heat of fusion of ice? For example, suppose if you want to define the same specific latent heat of fusion for ice, dear children, how can we define? So, very simple. Let us take, we need to mention the temperature. We know that ice in a solid state, at a 0 degree Celsius, the temperature of ice is at a 0 degree Celsius. This to be converted into 0 degree Celsius water. So, it is 1 gram only. Here is 1 gram only. So, children, the amount of heat energy required to change the 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius, 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius into 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius. Children, here we are not mentioning like at a constant temperature. No need to mention. Already we are saying ice at 0 degree Celsius to water at 0 degree Celsius. During this process, the heat, whatever the heat which we are providing is called specific latent heat of fusion of ice. Let us define once. What is specific latent heat of fusion of ice? Children, the amount of heat energy required to change the 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius into 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius is called specific latent heat of fusion of ice. Then what is the value of the specific latent heat fusion of ice? Let us see. It's a very, very important issue. So, there are, again we will be having some consequence of having high specific latent heat of fusion of ice also. So, before that, let us see. Children, the specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 80 calorie per gram. First of all, what does it mean? The specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 80 calorie per gram. What does it mean? Children, look at here. Here let us take 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius. 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius. So, here 1 gram of ice at a 0 degree Celsius absorbs 80 calorie heat. 80 calorie heat energy in order to convert into 1 gram of water. 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius. Children, this what actually the meaning of the specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 80 calorie per gram. I repeat once. So in order to change 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius to 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius, 80 calorie heat energy should be supplied. Means ice is taking 80 calorie heat. It's very important. It's very huge actually, huge amount of heat. So children, this value even we can express in terms of joule per gram, joule per kg also. Let us try to express in joule per gram. Children, we know that 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Am I right? 1 calorie is equal to? Of course, yes. And 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. That is 1 kg can be written as 10 power 3 grams. So that 1 gram is equal to, it can be 1 by 10 power 3 kg. This 10 power 3 can be taken to numerator, it will become 10 power minus 3 kg. So 1 gram is equal to, we can write even 10 power minus 3 kg. Now let us substitute the values. In the place of calorie, let us substitute a joule. Children, 80 calorie per gram is equal to how many joule per gram? Let us see here. 80 calorie per gram is equal to, children, in the place of calorie, you substitute 4.2, then 80 into 4.2 joule per gram. This will be 336 joule per gram. 336 joule per gram. Children, in terms of calorie, it is 80 calorie per gram, whereas in terms of joule per gram, it will be 336 joule per gram. Even it can be expressed in a joule per kg also. So 80 calorie per gram is equal to 80 into, children, 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. It is 4.2 joules, and 1 gram is equal to 10 power minus 3 kg. 10 power minus 3 kg. So this 10 power minus 3, when it is taken to the numerator, it will become 10 power 3. So it is 80 into 4.2 will be 336 into 10 power 3 joule per kg. 10 power 3 joule per kg. So according to order of magnitude, we can write like this: 3.36 into 10 power 5 joule per kg. Joule per kg. Children, we can express specific latent heat of fusion of ice 80 calorie per gram. Even you can express like 336 joule per gram. Even you can express 3.36 into 10 power 5 joule per kg. Children, specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 336 joule per gram. What does it mean? Then what you can say? Same way you can say it, children. But thing is that you have to change the calories into joules. So here, let us see once. What is the meaning of like having, specific latent heat of fusion of ice is 336 joule per gram. Same thing here. 1 gram of ice at 0 degree Celsius will absorb 336 joule heat energy. 336 joule heat energy to convert into 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius. 1 gram of water at 0 degree Celsius. Children, just because of this high specific latent heat of fusion of ice only, what happens, the snow on mountains does not melt it at the same time. Does not melt quickly. At the same time, it cannot melt. The reason is that 1 gram of ice, it takes 336 joule heat energy. So it is not a small amount of heat. It is not a small amount of heat. So as it requires 336 joule of heat energy for 1 gram of ice to convert into 1 gram of water, it is like in a slow process. Slowly the ice is getting converted. Slowly ice is getting converted into water. So that is the reason why it will take so much of time, and why the snow on a mountain does not melt at the same time. And one more point is that it is very important. So if you can see here, observe the after hailstorm, especially after hailstorm, we feel more cold than before or during hailstorm. The reason is that, dear children, after hailstorm we feel more cold. What is the reason for that actually, dear children? So whatever the ice which we notice during a hailstorm, for example, after some time it will melt. But in order to melt, it needs some amount of heat. From where the ice will take heat to convert into water? No doubt about it, from the surroundings or from atmosphere only. Children, 1 gram of ice will take 336 joule heat energy, then you imagine such a huge amount of ice will be there during the hailstorm. So means huge amount of heat is required. That huge amount of heat is taken from the atmosphere. As atmosphere is losing the heat, definitely its temperature will go to the minimum. So that is the reason why we feel more cold after hailstorm. And even dear children, especially cold countries, when what we can say, the frozen lakes or frozen ponds, when they are melting, let us say here is frozen lake or something like this. So it will be like this. It's a frozen lake, let us say here. So when this frozen lake is melting, what happens, the surroundings temperature will go to the minimum like anything. What is the reason? Here frozen lakes means such a huge amount of ice will be there. So already we discussed, even 1 gram of ice only needs 336 joules of heat energy to melt. Then such a huge amount of ice will be there then. So in order to melt, in order to convert into water, it has to absorb so much amount of heat energy. Huge amount of heat energy is required. So that huge amount of heat energy is taken from the atmosphere. That is the reason, when the frozen lake is like a melting, then the surroundings temperature will go to the minimum. The surroundings temperature will go to the very, sometimes will go to the 4 degrees, 3 degrees, like that also it will happen. Just it is because of high specific latent heat of fusion of ice. And children, one very important thing what we notice, in order to cool any liquids or a juice, what we'll do, we will prefer ice at 0 degrees Celsius than ice cold water at 0 degrees Celsius. Then what is the reason? Let us see in detail. Here let us take ice at 0 degrees Celsius is ice. So why do we prefer ice at 0 degrees Celsius only? Why not same amount? Let us say it's 1 gram. And here is also 1 gram of ice cold water. So ice cold water can exist at 0 degrees Celsius. So why are we preferring ice only? Why not water? Let us see at the same temperature. Children, for suppose, so 0 degrees Celsius water, 1 gram of water 0 degrees Celsius, let us say, it may absorb some 30 calorie heat energy from a liquid in which it is placed, in which it is like added. Example I am saying, it's not exactly 30 calorie. I am not talking exactly it is. Or else, even we can calculate how much amount of heat it can take, it's a 1 gram. It's not that. Now let us see here, water at 0 degrees Celsius, it is a 1 gram only. So why do we prefer ice only? Why not water? Children, let us example water at 0 degrees Celsius, 1 gram of water at 0 degrees Celsius, for suppose it will absorb 30 calorie heat energy from a liquid in which it is added, for example, let us say. Whereas what about ice? Can we say that ice also can absorb 30 calorie heat energy? It is not that. Why? First, ice has to melt. So means from 0 degrees Celsius ice to 0 degrees Celsius water. Then 0 degrees Celsius water can absorb the heat. Let us see here. First, dear children, this 0 degrees Celsius ice will get converted into 0 degrees Celsius water. 0 degrees Celsius water. For this, 80 calorie heat energy is needed. 80 calorie heat is needed. And the next, for example, as we took like a 30 calorie. So as like this, so this water we obtained from the solid ice is 30 calorie, let us see. Means what is the total amount of heat is required? 80 plus 30, it will be 110 calorie. 110 calorie. Means here, for suppose if 1 gram of ice, 1 gram of water 0 degrees Celsius will absorb 30 calorie heat from the particular juice where we are going to add this water. Whereas here, ice at 0 degrees Celsius, same amount of ice at 0 degrees Celsius will absorb 110 calorie heat energy. Means extra 80 calorie heat is needed each and extra 80 calorie heat is absorbed. So that is the reason ice at 0 degrees Celsius will make the juice cool very easily, quickly than that of the water at 0 degrees Celsius. So we will discuss now specific latent heat of evaporation. So before just we discussed what actually specific latent heat of fusion. So dear children, in that specific latent heat of fusion, what is happening? We are providing heat to convert solid to liquid, but whereas here it is a vaporization. So we are going to provide a heat at a constant temperature to convert liquid state to vapor state. Let us see. Children, here 1 gram of liquid, for suppose it is at 100 degrees Celsius. So we want to convert this 1 gram of water at 100 degrees Celsius to 1 gram of vapor, 1 gram of vapor children, it is 1 gram of vapor. Here is 1 gram of liquid at 100 degrees Celsius only. So the temperature, again I am saying, it remains constant only. So children, in order to convert, in order to change 1 gram of liquid at 100 degrees Celsius to 1 gram of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius, some amount of heat must be provided. Children, whatever the heat which we are providing to change 1 gram of liquid at 100 degrees Celsius to 1 gram of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius is called specific latent heat of vaporization. Specific latent heat of vaporization. Okay children, so this is what actually specific latent heat of vaporization. Now let us see what is a specific latent heat of vaporization of water. What is its value? Let us see children. So in some textbooks it will be given 540, in some of the textbooks it will be given even 546 also. So at an average, let us take the specific latent heat of vaporization of water is 540 calorie per gram. So what does it mean? Actually it means that 1 gram of water at 100 degrees Celsius, it is water at 100 degrees Celsius will absorb 540 calorie heat energy to change into 1 gram of vapor, 1 gram of water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius only. So it's very important. So specific latent heat of vaporization of water is 540 calorie per gram. What does it mean? It means that 1 gram of water at 100 degrees Celsius will absorb 540 calorie heat energy to convert into, to change into 1 gram of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. Children, now let us see how we can convert into joule per gram and a joule per kg also. Children, we know that 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule, whereas 1 gram is equal to 10 power minus 3 kg. Then it will be 540 calorie per gram is equal to, children, if you want a value in terms of joule per gram, just substitute only calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. So it will be 540 into 4.2 joule per gram will be how much, dear children? 540 into 4.2, it will be 2268 joule per gram. So what does it mean if you will get a value like this? What does it mean? It means that 1 gram of water at 100 degrees Celsius will absorb 2268 joules of heat energy to convert into, to change into 1 gram of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. So same value we can express in terms of even kg also, means joule per kg also. Let us see. Copy this? Yes. Look at here. So 540 calorie per gram is equal to how many joule per kgs? Children, here it is 540 into calorie is equal to what? Calorie is equal to how many joules? 4.2 joules. 4.2 joules, whereas 1 gram is equal to 10 power minus 3 kg. Now here 540 into 4.2 will be how much, dear children? It will be 2.268. This 10 power minus 3, when you take to the numerator, it will become 10 power plus 3. So it will be into 10 power 3 joule per kg. So this we can write according to order of magnitude. It can be written 2.268 into 10 power 6 joule per kg. So children, this is the value of specific latent heat of vaporization of water in a SI units. It is a CJs units. So if a statement is given like this, The specific latent heat of vaporization of water is 2.268 into 10 power 6 joule per kg. What does it mean? What does it mean? So look at here. So here it means here is 1 kg water, 1 kg water at 100 degrees Celsius, 1 kg water at 100 degrees Celsius will absorb 2.268 into 10 power 6 joule heat energy to change into 1 kg of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius, Children, this is the meaning of the specific latent heat of vaporization of water is 2.268 into 10 power 6 joule per kg, which means what? 1 kg of water at 100 degrees Celsius will absorb 2.268 into 10 power 6 joules heat energy to change into 1 kg of vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. Actually, here I have a small question. Let us see once more. Here in one bowl, 1 kg of water, always in one bowl, 1 kg of water at 100 degrees Celsius is there. In one bowl, let us see here, 1 kg of water, 1 kg of water at 100 degrees Celsius. Let us say beaker A. In one more bowl, here we have 1 kg of water vapor, 1 kg of water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius there. Children, which is more dangerous? For example, if you can keep your hands, one hand in a water at 100 degrees Celsius, one more hand in a water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. Children, of course, in the two situations danger, but just for sake of concept here. So which is a more danger, dear children? Here we can say that the case where when you put your hand in a beaker B, okay, you'll get more hurt, you'll get more injured, I can say that. Means burning will be more. The reason is that, dear children, because of high specific latent heat of vaporization of water. Dear children, the moment when water vapors will come and will touch your skin, for example, 1 gram of water vapor will come and will touch. So it carries 540 calorie heat energy. So the moment it is coming and touching 1 gram of vapor, it's coming like this, zoom, like this it's coming. When it touches, what happens? Immediately 540 calorie heat energy is given to your skin. But our skin won't bear that much amount of heat energy. Then what will happen? It gets burned actually. So dear children, it is a reason actually why water vapors at the same temperature, are more dangerous than the water at 100 degrees Celsius. Same temperature. When both are same temperature, definitely water vapors will injure more. I can say that will causes more like a burning sensation. Children, this is what actually specific latent heat of fusion and specific latent heat of vaporization. Let us recall. What is specific latent heat? The amount of heat energy required to change a substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature is called latent heat. Then what is specific latent heat, dear children? When you specify the mass by like a 1 unit. So the amount of heat energy required to change the unit mass of a substance from one state to another state at a constant temperature is called specific latent heat. Then we discussed about specific latent heat of fusion. Then we discuss specific latent heat of vaporization, dear children. Children, in the next session, we are going to solve the numericals based on specific latent heat. That is going to be a wonderful session. Thank you so much, dear children. All the very best.